May last year, we only go back to May last year,
Yes.
you're in Gibraltar and you
Yes.
get this phone call, the worst phone call you've ever had to take in your life.
Yes. We've had 9 people die in our family below the age of 40, so this was just another one.
And who called you, Stephen?
The police. The Avon and Somerset police. They text me and then they text me again and said, because I was thinking this was a bit of a hoax. Avon and Somerset police. Claire lives in Gloucestershire. So I wanted the guy's collar number and his name and his position, and then I realised it was genuine, that they needed to speak to me. So I took the phone call about 6:30 on the 12th, and this guy, Rob Dolan, from the police liaison officer, was saying about Claire and that she'd got herself into a problem. I just said, look, is she injured or is she dead?
I'm so sorry, and she was dead.
Right.
This was a lethal injection. This
Yes.
was a mix of...
A snowball, it's called.
And the important thing is, the man who gave her this, who supplied her
Perrott,
with this,
yeah,
Stephen Perrott.
That's right.
How could you find that in your heart when you came face to face with him in court? This is the big question. This is what a lot of people will want to know. How did you find forgiveness in your heart?
Well, Eamon, I'm a Christian, right, first of all. Secondly, I like to keep an open mind on whether this guy is a sinner, whether he's someone who is making £3,000 or £4,000 a week out of drugs, or whether he's someone who is the victim of drugs. And until I know the extent of the problem, I keep an open mind. So I want to talk to him, I want to engage him, I want to see if he can turn his life around, and I want to see if he can help me to make something good from Claire. So there was no anger. There's never been any anger. I mean, I'm annoyed that Claire went with him, but there's no anger in me to think, I want to see this guy 10 miles the other side of hell or something.
Now, I want to ask you, this week, the police commissioner, commissioner in the West, in the Midlands,
yes.
he saying we should just pull up the white flag, haul up the white flag now in the battle against drugs. We've got to look at it differently. We've got to treat it differently. People who are addicted, heroin was particularly what he was talking about. They should be injected by doctors. And he said this is going to cut out the drug dealers. This is going to cut out the gangs. This is going to cut out the petty crime where people have to feed their habit.
Well, he's wrong. It won't. It won't. I mean, whilst I respect his views, I think the biggest problem we have is we need to understand how big the problem is. Because if I was to ask you two guys who are in the media, you know what you're doing, how many people in 2017 died in the same way that Claire did? How many people were injured by drugs? How many people had to have mental health counselling? What is the cost to the criminal justice system, to prisons, to the courts, to the health service? We don't know. We have no idea.
It's billions.
So what would you like?
It is billions, but we don't know.
But
where
would you not
start,
save
Stephen?
that by supplying?
There is an argument. There definitely is an argument that we need to do something different, because we can't just put these on a conveyor belt, call them criminals, put them in prison, bring them out again. I mean, sometimes they spend 22, 23 hours a day in their cells, for example. Do we have a prison service, a secure unit that deals with these people, that focuses on the problem? But the problem comes back really to the supply of drugs, the distribution of drugs. Okay. It's a big problem, and you've got to look at it holistically. There's no point in just, looking at one element.
We're not going to solve it.
No, we're not. There's no quick fix.
It's not going to bring your Claire back.
There's no quick fix.
That. Our condolences to you,
thank you.
And thank you for talking about what is so painful.
Okay. Well, I just want to say that before I leave the sofa today, on the 21st of June, which is the anniversary of Claire's Claire's funeral, I will be setting off from John O'Groats and walking back to Land's End, which I did 42 years ago, to raise money for to help with these problems and set up something called the Million Mile Challenge. So hopefully I can come back and talk to you more about that.
We'd love you to.
Yeah.
We'd love you to.
Good luck.
Thank you
very
Stephen.
much indeed, Stephen. Thank you very much.
See you when you come back from your walk.